everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today, it's still Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. And I'm going to enjoy myself a nice cold green tea here. Fire is absolutely beautiful, it's warm, so we had to get that going. Grandma got a little chilly, so we started the fire a little earlier than we would have normally. But so I got my lounge pants on and my slippers, and I thought I would do a video for you guys. So, and I like to have the fire going in the background like that. It's always a nice look. So we're going to talk about tonight, because it's about 6:30 I think right now. We're going to talk about definition of what's living off grid. Okay, so there seems to be, everybody's got a different idea of what living off grid is, and that's fine. Everybody has their own perspective of it and stuff like that. Some people think that you're not living off grid unless you're a million miles away from everybody else, out in the middle of the woods and nowhere, and have nothing hooked up to anything. That's one definition of living off grid. There's a lot of different ways that you can look at it. To me, being off grid, because I am off grid, in my perspective, it is not being hooked up to any of the municipalities. So we are not hooked up to the water. We are not hooked up to the power. So we have our own power, which we obviously know with the solar panels, and that's why we create our own power. And we also have our own well, so which runs off of our own solar system. So the pumps and everything that you've heard at different times, that's all with that. That's all how that works. So we condensed down into a smaller building, which we converted into our home. As you guys, anybody that's watched my channel for any length of time knows the story. We converted a 14 by 40 lofted barn into our home. Now inside here is still rough. A lot of work to still do. I want to do a tongue and groove pine, and I've talked about that as far as the walls. So I want to work on that first, and then I will put some kind of flooring in after I have that part done. But like I said, again, that's a work in progress. That is something that I don't care if it takes me years to get done. It doesn't really make any difference, because it's very livable the way it is, and we're comfortable and we're fine. We have a roof over our head. I have a full-size refrigerator over here. We can cook either on the top of the wood stove, or I have a propane gas grill outside, so we can do either one of those things. There's another thing some people think: if you are not cooking off of a wood stove, then you're not living off grid. So here's the concept with that. Obviously, in the summertime, we use the gas grill outside a lot, because we're not going to cook on the inside of the house, getting a fire going and heating up the house when it's 85 degrees outside. That doesn't make any kind of sense whatsoever. So when it's wintertime and it's colder weather, then we utilize the wood stove for cooking all the time. When it's summertime, I will use the gas grill. So I don't know if people think that that's cheating or not living off grid. I don't know. You have your own perspective of how you look at it. Doesn't really matter to me. I am doing what I'm doing. So with living off grid, here's one of the things I think that is a common thing. Maybe it's not so common. Anybody that you ask that is living off grid and has been doing it for any length of time, and we're farther out into the country for the most part. Most people are. They're farther out. Don't have neighbors all up their behinds. There's a peace to it. Okay, there is definitely a peace of mind. I know that for myself, since we moved out here, I've changed so much since I moved out here. I'm a lot calmer. I definitely enjoy life a lot more. I love being out in the country, and it's very, very peaceful. I've told you guys before, one of my favorite things to do is at night, on a clear night, is go outside and just stand in the driveway and look at the stars. In the summertime, we put a blanket down in the driveway, and Heather, Eddie, and I would lay on the blanket, have pillows, so we can just sit there and lay on the ground and look up the stars. Nothing like it. And it's funny when we do that, because in summer, The cats are always out at night. You will not really see a cat in the house in the summertime, and at night. They're always out catting and doing whatever cats do. So we'll end up with 3 or 4 cats laying around us while we're outside like that. It's actually pretty funny, but it's very relaxing. So it's a different mindset from the hustle and bustle of the grind of living out on grid and living in a town or living in suburbia or living in a city. It's a whole different atmosphere, and I think it's a much better atmosphere. Now, with living off grid, I will say this: that it is a lot more physical. We heat with wood, so we have the wood burning stove. So things have to be tended to. Wood has to be split, cut down, stacked up, brought in throughout the course of the winter, and those type of things. So you're gonna have that type of thing going on, and it can, it's busy, So, but that's okay. It's not a bad thing. I absolutely don't think that's a bad thing at all. What are you doing, Belle? What? So, but anyway, I definitely want to hear your feedback. What do you consider living off grid? Again, everybody has a different perspective of it. I've had people tell me I don't live off grid because I have internet. So, I mean, how silly is that, Because I'm making YouTube videos and I have internet, then I'm not living off grid. So, that's the only thing we have coming into the house, is the internet. And I don't see where that's ever a problem. But everybody, like I said, everybody has their own perspective of what living off grid is. You don't have to live like a hermit. You don't have to be completely isolated, as far as I'm concerned. You can have your family involved and enjoy life. You can really, it makes life simpler. It makes life easier. Like I said, again, it's a lot more work, but it's so worth it. And it's a great feeling. And it just makes life more, in my opinion, it makes life more enjoyable. It really, truly does. Because I know that from the stress of being what I call on the hamster wheel, I don't have that anymore. And that's really probably one of the best things. It's a simpler life is what it is. Even though you're more busy and you work with your hands a lot more, there's always something to do. There's always the next project that you want to work on. And it depends on how entailed you want to get. Before we got the chickens, as an example, I had somebody tell me, well, you're not really off grid because you don't have any farm animals. So, again, it's whatever perspective that you have. So some people are going to want to have chickens. Some people are not going to want to have chickens. I've seen a lot of off-gridders that will get different animals and then realize that those animals don't work for them, and so they get rid of those, like ducks, for an example. Ducks can make a tremendous amount of mess. Duck eggs are absolutely awesome to eat. Geese eggs are even better to eat. And you want to see an egg, see a goose egg. That is an egg. That is a huge, huge egg. But again, it all comes down to whatever your individual preference is. Some people like to have dogs. I think dogs are great for a homestead, and they're a part of it. They have their job to do, just like the cats have their job to do. People, and I always laugh when I get these comments. Okay, so when people will say, "Well, don't you have a problem with mice?" And my usual reply is, "I have 8 cats, so no." Their job is they go out and they take care of the rodents. That's what their job is. So, they're always working on those type of things. And so it just, like I said, everything works in relationship to something else. I mean, I've always had cats. I've always had dogs. We didn't have dogs for a few years. And then, like I said, now we have the puppy. Well, they're not really puppies anymore. They'll actually, next spring, they'll be 2. So, it's Heather was showing me, or actually, who was some? Oh no, Chris up on top was showing me the video when we first got the puppies, and I was like, oh my goodness, But that's all documented. That's all there. But it's just like I said, living off grid it's a different. People have a different thought in their mind when they think about living off grid. Some people think of a log cabin. Other people think of a yurt. Other people think of living in like a teepee. There's a lot of different variations. Whatever works for you. If you want to live off grid, if you want to go off grid, if you have your dream of how you want to do it, that's completely up to you. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever it works for you. Like I said, for myself, I have different ideas and things that I want to do here, and we're working towards those, which is absolutely awesome, and we're getting there, and it's a process. The biggest thing advice I would give anybody that's contemplating going off grid to living off grid and stuff like that, don't expect everything overnight. Definitely expect roadblocks. Things are going to come up, things are going to happen that are going to throw a monkey wrench in your plans. It's just sticking with it, realizing as you achieve whatever goals that you are trying to make. We did not have running water here for the first year and a half we were here at the homestead, so that was an interesting time, and so once we were able to get running water, and I had the well, I just didn't have the means to run the lines and put in the holding tank and stuff like that. But when we got those funds, that's what we did. We got that taken care of. So it just, everything takes time. And you know what? You don't really realize how much you appreciate something until you don't have it. So like taking a hot shower in your house. All right, we were not able to do that for a very, very long time. Other than what we actually used to do in the very beginning, we would take and heat up glasses of water in the microwave in the camper, and then we would take a jug, and then we would put that hot water in that jug, get it up to a certain level, and then you would add the cold water, so it would still be very warm. It would be great. And then we would take like 2 of those jugs, and we would go into the shower, and we poured the water on ourselves, you soaked up, and then you rinsed, and that's how we took a shower. So, or we went to my mom's. We did that as well when she was living down in town. But that's how we did it in the beginning when we first got up here. So it was not always, oh, this is great, this is awesome. It's interesting, it's different. But if you have those goals and you try to reach those goals, it's amazing how once you obtain that goal, how much more you appreciate things. And I'm going to tell you what, if I had to do it all over again, I would absolutely do it all over again. It's been tough. We've had a hard road with some things. We've had some, roadblocks and monkey wrenches thrown in along the way, but all worth it, in my opinion. There's that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it definitely does. And the best part for me, and this is something that I want you guys to think about, anybody that's thinking about going off-grid or living this type of lifestyle, or, if you have like a bug-out location, this is the advice I would give to anybody. Learn what works and what doesn't work before something major happens, because once something major happens, all your things that you're doing could be life and death. And I really don't want to experiment after the fact and figure out, well, wait a minute, a 12-volt system is not working for me. I don't have the right batteries. I don't have enough solar and all those type of things. After an event, it's too late at that point. So with what we've done here through the course of the last several years in learning what works and what doesn't work for us, it definitely has helped. So again, those are the things, if you can work out those kinks and those bugs now's the time to do it when it's not life or death. So, that's one of the things that I would definitely recommend with people. Learn everything you possibly can. Experiment and play with it now when it doesn't matter, because when the time comes and it does matter, you can't afford to make mistakes, because that could cost people their lives. So that's just some advice that I would throw out there. But I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say, what your concept of living off-grid is, what you think living off-grid is. Like I said, everybody's view is different. It doesn't make you right, it doesn't make you wrong, it's just your view of it. So that being said, I definitely want to hear that feedback. I do want to remind everybody, tomorrow I will be doing my live stream tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we will be talking about Chile and the situation down there, and is there ever kind of a possibility that something like that's going on down there could happen here in the United States. So we're going to get into all of that tomorrow. Also, I want to remind everybody right now we still have the sale going on the website with the Legacy Freeze-Dried Foods at preppernurse1.com. If you are looking to add to your freeze-dried food storage, we are doing a sale on the 60 meal buckets. There's 4 different choices there. That is 15% off. If you are looking to go with a 120 meal package, that is 20% off. And if you're looking to do the 183 mega sample pack, that is 25% off. So if you are interested and you're looking to do that, it's good to have the freeze-dried food storage as well, along with your other preps. In my opinion, I have them here. I've showed them on camera and stuff like that, so I have it here as well. All right. So anyway, guys, listen. Remember, we are all in this together. That's important to remember. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. Also, remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can stop you, okay? Stay positive, stay away from that negativity, and you will be fine. Have a great day. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.